I'm so excited about this episode. I don't know why. I'm just in
I
a
have
good
my
mood.
mic right in front of me. I plugged it in, but it's not in front of me.
No, that won't work.
Super silly.
Ready? To record?
Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, record.
Okay. 1, 1, 2, 3. Before we start, this is on Why Are We So Hard on Ourselves, right?
Correct.
Okay.
This is what we are talking about today.
Just making sure. Alrighty. Wait,
Go.
hold on. Let me. Oh, am I starting?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I feel like I need to put this in a different spot. Maybe not. It's fine. What? I just. I. So I just feel like it's not in a good spot. It's like, oh, here, I'll do this. My coffee will be sacrificed, but the things we do. This is still not great. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will get to it. Okay, ready, set, go. Welcome back to another episode of the In Raw Life podcast. We are so excited you're here. We are going to share some major love with you today, just shower all the goodness on you. And that's because we love you. We totally appreciate that you keep coming back. And if you feel the same way about us, please stop what you're doing right now. Just pause real quick and give us a rate, a review, a subscribe, so that way we can let the podcasting platforms know that we've got something good going on. We're sharing a lot of love and more people need that. So go ahead and give us a rating. Please send a review if you have time and hit the subscribe button. And then also you can follow along. Sorry, you say that part. I don't want to say that part. You go there.
You can also follow along with us on Instagram at inrawlife.co, where we will shower you with even more love and encouragement. And you can then share the podcast on your Instagram and your stories and your text, wherever it is that you hang out with your friends. And if you're an empowered, unstoppable woman like we are in our community,
Yeah, girl.
we want you to join us in our Facebook community. Completely free. It's full of fun, encouragement, motivation, other amazing women who are living life just like us and want to be there for each other and empower each other and do big things in this world. So make sure you reach out and we will get you in.
Oh, speaking of Jessica, after this, I want to tell you this awesome idea I have for that group that I think will really help a lot of our people. So
Okay.
we'll talk more after this. Okay, but now that the homework, not homework, what do they call that?
The housekeeping.
Housekeeping, thank you. Now that we're through with the housekeeping, Jessica, darling, please tell me, what is your reality check for today?
Cool. I'm in a super good mood, so that's pretty cool.
Me too.
My reality check, it's just there's so many things, like so many good big things going on that could easily be overwhelming. And anytime it gets overwhelming, I'm like, whoa, take a step back, take a breath,
Yeah.
and then go forward. But yeah, my divorce is finally finalized. So that's pretty exciting. Been
Sorry,
4 years of unnecessary taking this long, but everything worked out as it should. So, and then Emily's got some really great things going on, and that's exciting, but it adds more on our plate. And we've got big things going on in our life, and it's just it's going. It's good. It's good. And I get to sit here and watch my plant babies grow every day, and I'm
You're becoming a crazy plant lady. I love it.
a little bit. Well, it especially helps that like literally right outside my work window door here, I have my 2 tomato plants that like I literally see them growing every day. And it's super
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome. Do they have tomatoes yet?
No, but one has flowers.
We'll check back next week and find out. the progress of Jessica's tomato plant.
You are all waiting with bated breath. But
Yes.
yeah, that's my reality check. I mean, so it's a lot of good. There's like a few, of course, life, there's always some downs, but any second that I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed, I stop and take a breath and reconfigure and know that it's all good.
Yeah. I
What
love
about you?
it. I'm in a very similar place. I a little not as good, but not so bad. So my house, I've I've learned one thing about myself is that if there's a lot of visual clutter, it makes a lot of mental clutter, and I have a really hard time focusing and staying on task. You're the same way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, we just moved in. Well, we moved in a month ago, and I know you're usually like you've everything unpacked by then, but I do not. Um, and also like there's multiple things going on. So we're still unpacking, which like most of the boxes are in the basement and I can do it one at a time, except there's a huge daunting task that happened to land as soon as we moved in and I have been pushing it off. It is my least favorite task. It is the switching the boys' clothes to the next size up. It is like it just haunts me every time, and I delay it, and then they're in these clothes that are very much too small for them because I just the undertaking is so like finding the right box to put things in, and like do we have and now there's two of them. Like it was stressful when it was just Arrow. Now there's double. But anyway, I decided on Sunday that I would undergo that task. It was a great idea and I did it. Actually, I might have started. No, I think I started Sunday, and I just watched Ginny and Georgia the whole time I did it. So it was entertaining while I'm doing this task that I don't like, and I almost got it done, but then dinner happened or whatever, and so my plan was, get the boys to bed and then come up and organize it nicely in a way. Sorry, I forgot where this story goes.
Oh no.
I just remembered. I'm like, what happened? Oh gosh, okay. So anyway, I was gonna organize it nicely and then kind of start to put things away and then finish it on Monday. We got the boys down and I told Jay, oh no, go clear off the bed because I had after putting the boys down, I had got myself a cute little nightie and got all nice and ready for some marital fun. And I was like, "Oh, the bed is a mess. Go clear it off because there's clothes everywhere." So he comes upstairs to clear the bed, and not only were there clothes everywhere, but his project of the day was installing a cat door so the litter box could be in the basement instead of our bedroom. But we weren't able to capture one of the cats to show her that, so she peed on our bed in between all the clothes. So here I am in this very slutty nightie trying to strip the bed cat pee. And I'm currently still in the room where there's clothes everywhere because he took the clothes off. And so I kind of don't know where, like I have ideas now where things are, but they're still not in my organization that I had on the bed. So like, I mean, it was my own doing. Like I'm the one that said, "Hey Jay, go clear the bed so we can, do our thing." And it ended up being a crazy
And
night.
that is
But
like,
anyway, because what?
I was gonna say that's like the exact it's like the typical story of a mom in her 30s. I feel like, oh, I'm gonna get all like cute and sexy from a man, go clear off the bed that I just was organizing things, took on this big task, and then
Uh-huh.
the cat pees on it and it becomes a big mess and you're in your nightie doing that.
It was fine because we still got to be together after that.
Well, that's good. That's
And it was hot. But anyway, I digress. Point is, my room is still a mess. There are clothes everywhere. And that's just one thing. And then Arrow got his new bed. We got a bunk bed. And so that came in the mail. And so I had to like empty out the boys' room so that Jay could build this bunk bed in there. So that's everywhere. And I like haven't caught up with anything yet. So there's stuff everywhere on top of our already like random boxes for moving. And I'm just like my mind last night I was doing 1,000 things and not completing anything. I forgot to post the podcast. I like so I woke up at 5 in the morning and did that. Um And my mind's been all over. So I overslept today. I posted the podcast at 5, went back to bed, slept till 9, which I never do. But I think it's because I'm mentally overwhelmed. Like I'm
Mhm.
mentally exhausted from the visual exhaustion that is around me. But I'm still like, I even though I was late and whatever, like I'm so excited about the day. It's a beautiful day outside. You were like so gracious in my tardiness, which was helpful, and I like I just I decided to while I was getting gas before because I had to drop our boys off at their grandmother so I could record the podcast. And I was getting gas on the way home and I was looking up some things for this episode and getting really excited about it. And I found a meditation I'm so excited to share with you guys. And I was meditating on the way home and I missed my exit, which made me even more late. And I just don't like I'm I am sorry for being late. I do feel bad about that to Jessica, but I'm like I'm not going to let it get me down because life is not like you can't let that stuff get you down. There's so many things that could be one more thing, but instead I'm like, yeah, we're going to go record this podcast and encourage women, which is what I love. And I feel like we're both just so aligned with what we love right now that it makes the stupid stuff like cat pee and like whatever, all the weird things that pile up, it makes it no big deal because we're on the right track. So that's all.
And that's perfect for today because
I know.
talking about is being so dang hard on ourselves. Bless you.
Thank you. I almost said cat pee and allergies.
What?
That too. I almost said the stupid things like cat pee and allergies. Like allergies popped in my head, and then all of a sudden I start sneezing.
Well, don't call
Anyway,
it stupid. It doesn't like it then.
I guess not. Ugh. So, all right, we'll go for it, Jess. No, you go
Well,
for it.
so one of the things that I was kind of researching, I came across 11 signs that you're hard on yourself. Because sometimes we might not even
Ooh.
know that we're being hard on ourselves. Sometimes we might just be
Mm-hmm.
so in the thick of it that you don't see it that way. So
Mm-hmm.
these are, according to a YouTube video, which I agree with, 11 signs that you are too hard on yourself. 1, you are always angry. Like something is always like everything agitates you. You're always angry. You're always
Mm-hmm.
rude. 2, you are always comparing yourself to others.
Wait, I just want to add to the first one. Anger could also come off as irritability. Some people may be like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm not an angry person, but if you're irritable, it's the same.
yeah.
I feel like that's one
Didn't
and
I
the
say
same.
agitated?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, 2, you're always comparing yourself to others and therefore putting yourself down and feeling like you can't, measure up to others.
Mm-hmm.
3, you dwell on the things that are unfinished. So you don't ever see your accomplishments, you only see your
Mm-hmm.
failures. 4, you are never okay with yourself. Like you're never like there's always something going on. You can never feel good about yourself. There's always, oh, well, I'm too short or I'm too overweight or I don't eat the right things, whatever, or I don't work hard enough or I work too much or whatever it is. Uh, Number 5, your ideas are never good enough. So you don't feel, you're kind of constantly questioning yourself. 6, you're always negative. So anything comes up, just you have a negative response to it. Number 7, you dwell on mistakes. Number 8, you take on impossible things. So this is you take on things that are not within your control. So they're impossible because you can't ever control the outcome. So therefore, you're always going to fail because it's not yours to take on.
Much like getting the boys in the proper clothing. It's just beyond my control. Like they're just gonna keep growing the second I get them in the right clothing. So I should probably just
Yeah,
let them run naked.
just
I
let them have
accept.
clothes and they'll figure it out. They're boys. Number 9, you feel guilty about everything. So you always can find fault in yourself no matter what's going on. Number 10, you can never accept accomplishments. So if someone says, "Oh, great job," you might say, "Yeah, but I could have done it better in this way." Or if they say, "Oh, you look really nice today," say, "Yeah, but my hair wasn't doing that." You just can't accept that things are good. And number 11, you hardly do good things for yourself. So
Mm.
self-care and self-compassion are about non-existent.
Man, reading that or hearing that list, it makes me just like want to give 23-year-old Sierra a big hug because I feel like I was all of that, I think we all go through it. I don't think we're
I think
born
so
with this
too. I think we
mental ability to overcome it. I mean, to not to overcome it, but to to just like bypass it. Like, oh no, I do everything great and I love myself. I don't think we're born with that.
but it shows up in different ways. Brene Brown in the book that I just finished reading, and I know lots of people talk about this, but there's two different ways that we handle. I don't know how she words it, but like handle when things are not going well, basically. And it's either
Mm-hmm.
we overwork or we underwork. So I think it's the same thing. Like when we're in our early 20s, it just shows up in different ways for everybody. I think that everybody goes through this, and then it's if they come out of it and how they come out of it, that either makes or breaks them, or they stay in this. But when we overwork, it's okay, then you're a perfectionist and you have to do everything and you're trying to handle it all, and that's how you get overwhelmed. Or you think, I can't do anything right. I'm not gonna be able to do it. So you sit back and you just go into not doing anything.
Yeah. I was in the research that I was doing, I looked up like how to be kinder to yourself, and one uh statistic. I'm sorry, my I I need to blow my nose.
Well,
There's
good
this
news.
I it's so far away. It's all the way downstairs. Okay, I'll go do it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay, okay.
Entertain
Oh,
YouTube.
you should have given us the meditation first so we could do it now while you're gone.
Oh, well, sorry. So sorry. Can you still hear me?
I
It's
can still hear you, so that's fine.
um
Oh, you too.
so,
Hello, our watchers.
okay. So sorry. Okay, so this thing.
So
What?
so fast.
Well, I was
Did you even
noticed
blow
it
your
took
nose?
longer.
Did you blow
No,
both?
hold on, but I want to mute it so YouTube people are like out of my ear.
Oh, being 30 is
But the
fun.
podcast people get that because there was no mute by my. Anyway, whew. Okay, sorry. Allergy attack over. Hopefully. I only brought one tissue. I mean, what was I doing? Am I off mute? Okay. Anyway, going off of what you just said, I found some research that showed most people think that by giving themselves self-love and compassion, it'll make them lazier. Like, oh, if I do self-care, then that's going to make me lazy. And then I'll like never get out of this lazy slump. But research shows that the more self-love you give yourself, the more motivated you are, making you less lazy. So you get more stuff done because you've given yourself self-love, self-compassion, and self-care, which I
Mhm.
found fascinating.
Yeah, I was watching one or two things about self-compassion, and I didn't get I couldn't like pluck insights out of it, except,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I've heard this before, is treat yourself like a friend treats you. Like think of
Mm-hmm.
yourself how a friend thinks of you. A good friend thinks the world of you. So think of yourself that way.
Yeah.
But I
I've
feel like we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves. I feel like it would be interesting to kind of dive more into the
Why?
why we're hard on ourselves.
Okay, go for it.
But I don't really know. I tried watching some stuff and I just couldn't find anything really good for insights. But going, I guess, back to, early on when we're younger. Oh, I did get this from one of the videos. Something really interesting. It was like a 2-minute psychology video. about how our super ego, I think this is what she was saying, our super ego, whenever something is going downhill or wrong, or we perceive it as going wrong, we self punish and we self parent. And what we usually do is our mind takes whoever the stricter parent was growing up, that's
Mm.
ourselves. And
Oh
that's
my
ourselves.
gosh.
Yeah. So, and it's not our parents' fault necessarily, because
Right.
everyone has this. Parents are strict for different reasons and they had their upbringing and yada yada. But whoever was the stricter parent, that is usually becomes our inner punishing voice. So if something starts going wrong, we think, oh, like I need to clean up this house and then I need to do this and I need to look better and whatever it is. And that's just our default mode. So as adults,
Wow.
as very self-aware, introspective adults, we can then take that and say, hey, not
Hey.
that. I need to reroute that self-parenting and be kinder to myself and treat myself how I maybe wish I would have been shown how to handle the situation versus, buckling down and being strict about whatever it is.
Wow, that is mind blowing. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like both of my parents were strict in different ways, and so my self-parenting voice is a little mix of the strict on both sides because
Mm-hmm.
I was with my mom more, but I would say my dad was stricter when he was upset. So
Mm,
like I kind of pull from both depending on the situation. Like they were strict about different things, so I probably, depending on the situation, I pull from each one. That's
yeah.
crazy. Wow, I
Yeah.
love it.
My dad wasn't strict at all. My dad was just a big hug growing up.
He is a
But
four.
he is. But yeah, my mom was definitely the strict one, and she was very strict about keeping things neat and tidy.
Mhm.
And everything kind of had to be like the right way and look right and do right and super manners. And I know that even shows up in me sometimes when I feel stressed out, I start doing that to Emily, and I'm like, oh crap, I really need to like
Mhm.
reword this. She might need to do these things, but I need to reword how I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been there too.
yeah, even on myself. I mean, maybe that's part of the reason why when I get stressed out, little tiny messes can stress me out more. And
Mhm.
I get hard on myself, like, oh, this just won't ever be the right way, or I can't ever
That's
make this
so
work.
funny that you say that because I was like, I get so stressed out about mess, but my mom wasn't the cleanest person, I don't think. But I didn't get in trouble if I left a mess. Like, I guess she was clean. I guess she wasn't, she's not a minimalist. So, there, in my mind, the house is messy because it's
Hmm.
just clutter. But in her mind, it's organized, beautiful
Yeah.
clutter that I just don't find appealing. So, I guess she was clean, just not clutter free, and her cleanliness has rubbed off on me to the fact of like, oh, why isn't that clean? Why didn't you do the dishes last night?
Yeah.
God, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
me
I
talking
mean,
to myself, not her.
my nickname growing up was Messica.
Oh no.
Well, because I thought I always had such a messy room because my mom saw it that way, because her mom saw it that way. And I remember when my nanny would be coming to visit, it was like, look, Nanny, look how clean I made my room. Like that was like my accomplishment. And
Hmm.
that's just an accomplishment. But that's just my
Gotcha. Well, okay, so I was thinking how earlier I said, we weren't born with this ability to like bypass the self-loathing or self-parenting or whatever. But I think like to explore that even deeper. I think we were born with that ability, but then we're instantly like fed correction. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like if we were born with no other humans, we'd be like, love, I love myself, I
Yeah.
love my life.
I mean,
But
think about
other
toddlers
things,
or even 5-year-olds. They
what?
think about toddlers and 5-year-olds. They think that
Oh.
everything they do is awesome. They are so excited to share it. They take on almost any task that they want. They love themselves completely. unless some other force has come in and changed that idea.
Yeah, they say that it's easier to learn a language in the toddler phase because that's when they're learning English too, and they don't correct themselves for saying it wrong. They don't care that they are saying it wrong because they don't think it's bad. Like
Yeah.
Arrow, when he counts to 100, he says like 10, 20, 30, 40 because he can't say 30 yet. So I'm working on like 30. And so then he goes 30.
Mhm.
But it's just like they don't like he doesn't see anything wrong with it until I say, Arrow, say 30. Like he's just like 30, 40. And I say 30 and he doesn't hear the difference. So yeah, they don't see that yet. And then we grow up and then we're told things. And then we find peers who also tell us that's cool, that's not cool. Don't you want to be cool? You should do these things that aren't true to your character. And then we start developing this brain that tells us we are constantly failing. Oh,
Yeah.
poor little us.
Makes me think of, I forget the exact reasoning. Did you watch the movie Soul on Disney yet?
Yes.
With the like when they're in the like that weird sandy place, it's like and they get like covered up into like this big monster being
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's usually because they're so out of themselves.
Yeah. They're like in a soul sucking.
It's usually when they're like being either like very out of who they are or like kind of hard on themselves that they
Yeah.
get, because you doing this made me think of that. And it builds this big like callous thing around.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we're
Yeah.
trapped here thinking, oh, I suck at this. Oh, I'm not good at that. Oh, I'll never be, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
that's where we need to do the self-compassion, and a huge part of self-compassion and self-love, like you already talked about, and you like everywhere you look. And I was listening to You Are a Badass just now too by Jen Sincero.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation is always like one of the first steps, even if it's just breathing, taking a deep breath. So do
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk a little bit about that since you are a meditation queen?
Sure. Let me pull up. I had it on my phone, but let me find it on my. I should have pulled this up already. I'm sorry.
Or I'll give a little tip. One of my favorite ways to pull myself out of any sort of negative anything is that's not being effective is something that I read that I already do, and I read it in Brene Brown's book. She calls it a box breathe, I think. But it's where
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold that for 4 seconds. If you do that
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 times, that takes less than a minute, and that can totally take you out of whatever the negative thing that just attacked you, whether it's yourself or something else, and then be able to kind of move forward in a clear way. So for anybody who thinks they don't have time for meditation, don't have time for like turning their thoughts around, that is a quick and easy way to reroute yourself, if nothing else.
Have you what was that movie with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen? Did you not see that movie? The political like it was about politics. It was a comedy about politics. Oh God, what was it? She does that because
I don't
she's
know.
trying to become maybe she's vice president and she like they're in this crazy situation and that's what she does. And
Mm.
that's where I learned it. It's from this movie. Oh, it's such a good movie. I gotta look it up. Um, but I won't do that now. Instead, instead I will. It came out right before quarantine, so that's what I discovered it. Okay. So where was the meditation? Um, oh, sorry. Lo siento, YouTube. Where did it go? Maybe it's on this page. Nope. I don't mind. Oh yeah, I think this is it. Yes. Okay. So what like before we go into the meditation, I want to talk about something you brought up earlier, which is treating yourself like you would treat your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this all the time, probably not on the podcast, but to my friends all the time. it makes me sad when people talk about themselves that way because they're talking about my friend that way. And
Mhm.
so it like when I hear friends be really hard on themselves, I'm like, be nice to her. Like she's awesome. And I would never speak about her that way. Like that's the way I see people's negative self-talk.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you to look at your own, like what the words you're saying to yourself. Would you let somebody talk to your best friend or your daughter or somebody that you love so immensely that way? And if not, what would you say instead about that person? Like put yourself outside of yourself and look at yourself and be like, what could I say? What would I say if I was my best friend or my
Mm.
mom or daughter? Um, and then because we justify what our best friends do because we know their story and we see where they're coming from,
Mhm.
whereas the rest of the world doesn't. Like actually one of my really close friends recently told me all these things that people were saying to her and I was like, who is saying that? And it's these random parents that hardly know her and I was just like, oh, like it makes me want to go and fight those parents. Like I have this like
Mhm.
need to go and be like to speak to her that way, you know? And it's because whether it's right or wrong, it's not up to them because they don't even know her. And that's how I
Yeah.
feel about her. And I think we needed to feel about that. Like we need to feel that way about ourselves because nobody else knows our story as well as we do. And so if we really look at why am I doing this? What's making me think this way and feel this way? It helps us to have a little bit more self-compassion. But to
And
get there, oh, go ahead.
if you really can't, if you're so deep down that you can't even take yourself out of yourself to say, "Hey, that's my friend," talk to the people who are closest to you. Say, "Hey, I'm having a really hard time seeing the good in me. Like what like help." Like I
Yeah.
know it's funny. I was looking for something else in like saved images on my phone and I came across so it's kind of perfect. I came across a text between you and I from like
Mm-hmm.
2015, 16 where we
Mm-hmm.
were doing like personal development work and creating our own brands and we were asking each other what our top 3 best qualities were or something and we each asked each other and gave the answer. So
Mm-hmm.
go to your best friends, go to the closest people to you and be like, "Hey, I really am too close to this. I can't get out of my own head. What is it that I do good?"
What were our
And
top three answers? Do you remember?
uh for each person I'm not you told me that I was creative, organized, dedicated. Those were some.
Mm.
I think you gave me 5. You couldn't limit to 3. And I gave you
Wow. How me?
I know fun, something related to fun and loving, and I forget what the third one was.
I think it still applies.
Oh, pretty, super accurate. But you can
Mm-hmm.
ask, if they're close enough to you, and everybody has at least one person who they, feel that close to. Say, "Hey, just help me out. I want to love myself more, and I don't know how to. What is it that you see in me?" And they'll help you see that amazing thing inside of you that makes you you. And then you can start looking at that and saying, "Hey, I am really loving, or I am really adventurous. That's cool," and start loving yourself that way.
Well, maybe because you said everybody has that one person, but maybe like someone's in a place right now where they feel like they don't have that one person. And if you can relate to that, like you just feel like the community you've created or the people that you found yourself surrounded by are not loving or supportive and you feel very isolated because of that, reach out to us on Instagram in the DMs and
Well, please.
we'll become your support system. We'd be happy to do that. I've done that with multiple people and I love it. So don't ever
It's
feel like you're a burden. What?
it's totally normal to feel that way because I have
Hmm.
some of the most amazing people in my life, and I still get that way sometimes. I have that thought of, oh, I just have no one that I can really turn to right now. But really, it's when I look at that, when I take that thought out and look at it, I'm like, huh, yes, I do. I just might be feeling like I don't want to hear what they have to say right now. Let me examine that.
Yes. Yes. But also if it's real, like if there, I really do think there's people that don't have, like you really do, but I think there's people that really don't. And if
Yeah.
you relate to that, reach out to us because
Yeah.
we will non-judgmentally totally be there to walk you through it. Um, so yeah. But also, if you're struggling or you feel like Jessica, where you don't want to hear what the other people have to say, then don't turn to anybody but yourself. Because I honestly think that the biggest way to get over being so hard on yourself starts with you. Like, you have to be okay with being okay with yourself. So here's the meditation that I think will help with that.
Mhm.
So it's called the Lovingkindness Meditation, and I'm I'm going to say it, and it sounds like I'm speaking it over someone else, but I want, as I say it, I want you to like think those thoughts over yourself. You can also do this over someone else, especially like if you're having a hard time with somebody that you particularly are not fond of right now. Come back, like rewind, do it again over that person, but first do it over yourself. So the words I'm saying, speak that over your own self. So first, close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and repeat this. Well, first, let's do a deep breath because that'll get us in the. We don't have to do box breathing, but like Jessica said, a deep breath is always a great form of quick meditation in itself, just a conscious deep breath. So take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top for 3, 2, 1, and release. Let out every ounce of air you can from your lungs. Now speak this over yourself. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe and free from suffering. And may you live with ease. And that's it. That's the meditation. And it's so quick and easy. Just one conscious deep breath, hold it at the top for 3 seconds, empty it all out, and speak that over yourself. And you can do that while driving. Don't close your eyes. But that's why I was late to the podcast today, because I was doing that as I was driving and missed my exit. But anyway,
We're
yeah,
not hard on yourself about it.
I wasn't.
That's
I
something
had
you
a lot more
usually be
grace.
hard on yourself for.
Yeah, I would be so apologetic. But instead, I was apologetic for not being considerate of Jessica's time, but also was able to forgive myself because I was meditating as I drove and felt so happy about it. But anyway, so yeah, those are, I mean, it's 4 statements, and maybe we'll put this, maybe we can make an Instagram post out of it. So it's something you can come back to and see. But those 4 statements, just speaking speaking that over yourself daily, if you could start your morning with that, or something, just to get that message into your own mind, and then also to others when somebody cuts you off as you're driving. May you be well.
Yes,
So yeah.
I love that. Oh, thank you for doing that. We should do that more often when it's
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. um so I have a few other ways that you can be kinder to yourself. Do you want to hear them?
yeah.
Okay. So, well, one is to just understand that we all go through these thoughts. Like, we all feel all the feels. We
Mhm.
we are emotional people. That's how we were born. We were created to have emotions to help direct us through life. And I personally think that our emotions, if harnessed correctly, can lead us to huge, powerful things.
Mhm.
But we self-sabotage by letting the negative emotions take over, because those big powerful things are scary and probably impossible, is what we tell ourselves. But I don't think so. I think we are totally capable of reaching our wildest dreams if we let the positive emotions take effect. So give yourself grace and let yourself feel the sadness without beating yourself up over it, because when you beat yourself up over it, it just invites more negative emotions. But when you embrace the negative emotion as it is for what it stands for, I'm sad because yesterday I got sad because they cut down a beautiful tree in my neighbor's yard that was blooming pink, and it made me so sad. And I was like,
Mhm.
why am I so sad about this? I don't know. I am a very earthy person. that's okay. And I moved on. Whereas like a couple years ago, that could have floored me. And I would have been so sad, and I would have been contemplating the meaning of life because this tree was just murdered unjustifiably. Like you can, it sounds dramatic, but I seriously, when I was in the darker places, I would let myself get there. So give yourself space to feel the negative emotions and
Mhm.
allow yourself to step out of that.
Yes.
Um, and then, but also speaking of that, you're not going to be able to get out of something by pushing positivity down your throat. So if you're like, it kind of, I guess those kind of go hand in hand, but like, I think a lot of people will say, oh, it's fine. Just, say, like, just turn and say 5 things you're grateful for, which we talk about that a lot. But that's not the solution to fix the sadness. That is an addition to help you see the positive. But it
Mhm.
doesn't mean that the sadness isn't like, you need to make space for
Well,
both. You have to go for it. So,
you
go
said
ahead.
you said fix the sadness. I wouldn't even say fix the sadness. It's not going to give it space to breathe and then alleviate. Because I don't think we want to fix sadness
That's
necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying that's not, we can't just use gratitude to like to fix it, because that's not, we don't want to shove positivity into ourselves
Mhm.
instead of dealing with the hard stuff. So
Yes.
that's um exactly that. Like we don't want to fix the sadness. We want to embrace the sadness and then use other tools to like help us through it, but never, yeah, exactly, never to fix it. Um and then there's other suggestions like writing a letter to yourself, um, reflecting on like what causes you stress, but also like giving you a chance to speak kindness over yourself, because like if you're writing it to somebody else, like kind of like the friendship thing, like looking at yourself as a friend, write a letter to yourself as you would a friend and let yourself say kind things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then giving yourself a break, which we talked about earlier, like actually taking a break is um, good for your mental health and will keep you more motivated versus making you feel lazy.
Yeah.
And then I was a, that is not, what does this say? Um, Sorry, I screenshot one thing. So what self-compassion, I also have what self-compassion is not.
Mm.
So it's not about lying to yourself or about calling yourself weak or lazy. It's also not about putting your difficult thoughts aside. Um, when you are self compassionate, you are actually doing something very specific to yourself. You're noticing difficult thoughts, you're showing up for them, and you're creating a sense of psychological safety for yourself. You're creating a space in which you feel able to take risks. If you beat yourself up whenever you fail or fall short, this naturally inhibits you from trying new things and taking chances. But when you're self compassionate, you know that even if you fail, you'll still like yourself. In this way, self compassion gives you the ability to experiment, explore, and to be courageous. And I just love that. Like you have to learn to like yourself, because who you are isn't as bad as you might label yourself to be. There's actually a lot of really good characteristics about you, especially if you're open-minded enough to explore what that could be. Like that, just the fact that you might be coming here thinking, "Oh, I don't know if I could ever like myself." That alone means you're inquisitive and open to new ideas and thoughtful and what's the word I'm looking for? Like self-aware. So, which is a great quality, and I respect it. I respect it. So, anyway, those are my thoughts on self-love and compassion.
Wow.
Compassion. Maybe the fun thing that you should love about yourself is the fact that you're funny and quirky, because so many people are, and I feel like they beat themselves up for that. And
Uh-huh.
girl, if you're a weirdo, you are my girl.
Yeah, the second you let it out, you are just, it just feels so much better. You feel so much lighter and more yourself, and you have more energy because you're being yourself and not unconsciously working hard to not be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally agree.
Oh,
So, That's all from me. What about you, Jessica?
I think that's it. I think it was good.
I think so. I
That's
loved
it.
it. All right. Well, thanks for always coming back. We love having you here. We love how much you support the show. Just a reminder again, go uh, rate, review, subscribe. And if you want to be part of our show, then record a clip of what it means to what record a clip of what strength means to you, and we might feature you at the beginning of an episode. Record that and send it to podcast@inrawlife.com.
We should really change that to the other email address, by the way. I kept meaning to say that.
To the Gmail one?
Yeah.
Like to forward it, you mean?
No,
I check it.
forward it. Oh, you okay.
I do.
Until next week, we hope that you take some time to show yourself some love. Take some time to find those good, amazing qualities about yourself that make you you. And if somebody cuts you off in traffic, just say the kindness meditation over them.
May
Bye.
you be well. May you be well, mother.
Whoa.
All right.
Ah, my
Oh,
mouse.
I can stop this.
My mouse is not working. Damn.
Um,
Bye,
are you
YouTube.
stopping the YouTube? Adios.